Hello, Marthel Neville, and you're in the strategy room. Democratic White House hopefuls Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton squared off Thursday in a fiery debate as both candidates aim to define their differences on major issues, also to win over minority voters. Joining me today with analysis are political strategists Douglas Smith and Adam Goodman. Good to see both of you, and welcome to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Now, before we get started, let's take a look at some of the highlights from last night's PBS NewsHour debate.
Let's not insult the intelligence of the American people. People aren't dumb. Why in God's name does Wall Street make huge campaign contributions? I guess just for the fun of it. They want to throw money around.
We now have, in law, a process that the President, the Federal Reserve, and others can use if any bank poses a systemic risk. I think that's a major accomplishment. The kind of criticism that we've heard from Senator Sanders about our president, I expect from Republicans. I do not expect from someone running for the Democratic nomination to succeed President Obama.
Madam Secretary, that is a low blow.
Okay, got feisty indeed. So, Douglas, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts of the debate?
Sure. I think first and foremost, Secretary Clinton was truly incredible last night. What she did at the close is what she's been struggling to do for months, was to define why her. While Senator Sanders can go 10 words deep, Secretary Clinton goes 10 issues deep. And I think that was glaringly obvious last night.
Let's not insult the intelligence.
Okay. Adam, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that Hillary actually had a decent night. First of all, I thought, what great theater. I mean, one-on-one, no holds barred. I think as debates go, it was fantastic. But as a Republican, of course, I saw this as a bidding war over unlimited government. And I think Sanders really got hurt a little bit when they got into foreign policy. He hits a Nobel Peace Prize winner in Henry Kissinger and tries to then invoke Churchill. Winston Churchill is kind of one of his role models when his foreign policy looks a lot more to me like Chamberlain than Churchill. So a lot of sparks were flying, a lot of definition here. But as Hillary doubled down on Obama last night, which really was the political tack for her in the debate, Bernie doubled down on taking on the system, and I think that's where the fight is and where it's going to continue to go.
And Douglas, I'm going to move on and talk about the fact that both of the candidates now, of course, are making a big push for black voters in particular, talking police reform and saying the country's systemic racism must be addressed. Who do you think the voters will support when it comes to those issues?
Well, I think, without a doubt, it's going to be Secretary Clinton. All you needed to see was the CBC endorsement of her and the incredibly powerful words of John Lewis, a man who is revered in what he has done to promote civil rights for his entire life, and what he said about the role that both President Clinton did and what Secretary Clinton did in their youth, and the fact that no one seems to remember seeing Senator Sanders on those front lines. I think that speaks for itself. I think the record that Secretary Clinton comes into just overwhelms anything Senator Sanders can say. And the last thing I'd say is I think it's very, very sad that Senator Sanders' followers now are on Twitter bashing John Lewis. And I don't think you have to be a Democrat or a Republican to recognize just what a hero John Lewis has been and the courage he faced in standing up to so many of the tough issues in this country.
But let me stick with you there, and then Adam, I'll get you to jump in on that. Is that part of the complexion of the young voters, that they don't necessarily have history in mind?
That could be, and I think what I'm going to stand with is that, John Lewis is a personal hero to me. In the words of Lloyd Benson, I know John Lewis, and, I think the fact that his followers, it really says something kind of depressing. Like, this is a big election. Whether you vote for a Democrat, whether you vote for a Republican, every presidential election is a big election, and the voters really need to pay attention and think about it. You can't be a candidate who's only 10 words deep. You really got to focus and think about the complexity of these issues, from Syria to Flint and all points in between. It's easy to have the one-liners and bash Wall Street. It's a lot more challenging to actually think through the issues and have complex solutions to what is facing us. And I think that is what Sanders is now facing. He is having to come up with complex answers to things that he just doesn't have the grasp of.
Adam, let me get a final point in with you. The conversation also has turned to the issue of superdelegates. Clinton so far has an advantage over Sanders, and the liberal group Move On has started a petition to protest the Democrats' primary process. What's your take on that?
Well, we never like party rules when they don't serve our respective interests, and obviously the superdelegates is the latest assault by the Sanders camp on the process. I don't think it's going to matter when it's all said and done. What we are looking forward to, though, let's talk about the next show in South Carolina. Sanders does have a challenge, and the challenge is that in New Hampshire, he only broke even with Hillary among registered Democrats. Independents were the reason he won by over 20 points. There's the majority population of the Democratic electorate in South Carolina is well over 55%. It's a different campaign. But what we're seeing here, bottom line, in all of this, is ideology versus an attack on the system. And right now, from both ends, Republican and Democrat, the latter seems to be doing awfully well, and I would not discount Bernie Sanders from going far into the night in this primary nomination battle.
Okay, Adam, Douglas, I have to leave it there. Thanks to both of you for being here.
Thank you.
Of course, and you can check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential race. I'm Marthel Neville. Thanks for watching.